I'm alive. Sorry, guys. I've never streamed before, so I was talking to an someone. So that was I can't undo that. I don't know. I didn't want to end the stream. I didn't realize there was a mute. I should have at least done that. But there's either way. I wanted to continue this hot topic of murdering babies. So and how sexy it is, how high it is to us ladies, like how cool it is, right? But yeah, no, guys. So I've always, as far as like segs, right? Like I've always seen that as like, okay. I used to think, I'm like, yeah, like oh, completing the act, right? Like the, sexier, right? Because it's not, it's biologically, that's what we're like inclined to, I thought, to whatever, right? So I was like, I felt vindicated when I read the Bible part about what's the story of the, I forget the story, who the characters are, but basically, like, the guy pulls out, the guy pulls out, and God is like, excuse me, like, what did you think you were doing? Like, you don't do that. Like, you have, you like God was pretty raunchy in that story, like I'm saying, like, and I'm like, oh my God, like, so is that why I felt that way? Because it is correct way to feel, like, just biologically, like I thought, right, guys, or something. But I used to think until I started dating guys with baby moms, right? I used to think like, oh man, like that must be sign that guy like is really into you, right? Like he must, like, you must be something special if he's willing to, like, potentially, right, like have this risk of like a baby with you. You must be like top notch, right? No, guys, like in that regard, men, you are pigs, because I've dated some fellas with baby moms, and it wasn't love. They weren't risking. In that regard, you fellas is just pigs sometimes. Yes, that is true. That is a true thing. Women who say that, like, oh, men only think with like their, they have two heads or whatever. Yeah, like some do. Okay, and they were probably young, but nonetheless, just like some ladies out there thought like these douchebags, like love them and stuff. So in that regard, that's why I always was like, yeah, like I'm irresponsible, but I have, guys, like I live to ride to live, que sera, sera, wherever the wind takes me, wherever the sperm takes me, whatever, like. But I certainly never do that to trap a guy. Like I never would, like, let's say I had been risky, I participated in some risky business. Never would I expect the guy, like I've always been the type where, yeah, like in a perfect world, yes, like ideally the way it should be, ideally people shouldn't have sex, right, until like marriage. That ain't this world, okay? So it's gonna happen. People who don't remain together are gonna have children together. um but I certainly would never use it. I would be okay with just having my child and not like some weird attachment, like, but they have, like, no, that's gross. Number one, that's like emotional rape. Like you must stay committed. You must stay connected to me on an emotional level because we have a child. Like, no, a civil level perhaps. But people can't even fucking do that. Certainly I think I'm capable of doing that when it's not, there's not these weird plots against me by said parent. But certainly I never was like, oh yeah, we're gonna be together forever, like these fellas that I participated in like risky business with, right? No, I never saw it as like we're forever bonded now. Like, no, that is, I think, a woman thing. Or man, a weirdo thing. It's a weirdo thing, guys. It is. All right, it is. But yeah, certainly it's never been me. And certainly when I dated guys with baby moms, they automatically hate me. They automatically try to start that like feud of like, oh, girl dating, and like, I'm baby. I don't fucking care. Like, quit, get over yourselves, okay? fucking, we're talking about children. Like, you can't be the bigger person. Like, by all means, you can pretend for a little bit, you know? The fuck? It's fucking sick. And it's never been me in these situations. It's every fucking time I date a guy with a baby mom, which, once I hit my like almost 30s, like, yeah, it was frequent. Because the odds of having like dating a single fella are rare. So instant. It's like they think they're supposed to hate me or something, and it's like I would never do that. Like, and I would never think I'm instantly the kid's stepmom. I'm certainly not going to be. I certainly would like them to like me if I think I'm dating this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I certainly wouldn't, scare them, or automatically think I'm their authoritarian. Like that gives me permission to like. No, I hate correcting other people's kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate that shit. It's so uncomfortable. Like, when it's necessary, like how it was with Aiden, Joe's other son. I used to like, but yeah, guys, like, birth control is like, that's why I suggest that book, And then as far as men go, like, I guess, fellas, if you are worried about the ladies trapping you with pregnancy, until they can't, until they like science comes up with this like impossible thing of like male chemical birth control. I, I don't know. I get a sex machine robot or something because you can't. I think it's harder for men to like. If you're worried about a lady trapping you with pregnancy, I think it would be harder for a man to prevent that because ladies can do more in that regard. Like, oh yeah, I took my birth control. You don't know that, and you don't know if they did. Like, oh yeah, I saw them take it, and then like they are taking other meds to like mix it. There's a lot more ways women can sneak past like like trap you that way. So either insist on a condom, uh, get really good at pulling out, but they can still convince you like that's not 100%. Or get those sex robots until you find a lady that you trust isn't trying to like bind you for all eternity with a child that you don't want, that you both don't want or something. So man, I had so many. Damn, I was really going somewhere with this guy. I really was. So, like, as far as me, I don't love murdering babies. I do believe abortion is murder. Accept that, admit it as a fact. It is a scientific fact, guys. Okay, and I don't know, like, it is, and then you can add the spiritual aspect of like the religious. It's you guys again, like, see, I'm a necessary evil. I'm like, who is she, right? Like, is she evil or is she light? Like, who she work for? Because how is it she's agreeing with us both? It's weird, right, guys? Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, admit that abortion is murder. Uh, no agency or anybody has any say over what whether you should or you shan't or you shan't get one. You're never going to like, what a waste of time that would be to be like, hey, did you really get raped by your father? Like, are you sure? Like, how can we prove it? Like, what the fuck? Like, how are you like, oh, only under circumstances of rape is it okay? Like, I can't. Like, what better? What guys? And that you're better off wasting your time handing out baby hangers in front of abortion clinics because I mean it's accomplishing the same thing with less trauma to the victim. All right, you know. But yeah, as far as you women out there, like that fucking logic of like, I've literally seen women be upset about their miscarriage baby and then post mocking memes about like abort, oh yeah, it's not a human until it's born. So which one is it? Only when you that's weird. Just admit that's fucking murder. Okay. Just admit it. You're not gonna go on trial for it. And like I said, if you don't believe in a higher power, um, consider it yourself on your deathbed. Are you going to be okay? Will you forgive yourself for your choice and the way you went about it and the way you bragged about how awesome and cool it was and liberating it was to your rights on your deathbed? Are you going to be proud of yourself for that? Think about that. Take God or this concept of it out. Okay, it's fucking wrong. Just admit it. But it's not wrong. But it's also wrong for anyone to tell you that you shouldn't get one. Now, as far as the man and the woman involved, like hey, one partner. I, I don't know, guys. That ain't my. I can't even get people to agree with not murdering me. So I don't know how I can convince others to like come to a middle ground in that regard. Like who's right and who's wrong in this like murder plot of others. Because I'm in the middle of it myself. You know what I mean? Like so I can't do that much. But yeah, like there are guys out there, women who like they don't want you to have a member. I don't know. I'm just telling you my thoughts, okay? And so yeah, but as far as me, I enjoyed pregnancy. It wasn't like this dreadful, like it wasn't the same as what birth control was doing to me. I actually enjoyed for the most part my pregnancy. After is when my body really went to shit because that's when the line really kicked in. Like after I had Damon is I believe I contracted Lyme like right before getting pregnant. I believe because I did. Yeah, I don't know. You guys know me. I'm always out and about, and I'm just out there collecting rocks and burning incense to tree stumps and just being problematic out in nature. It was bound to happen, right? It was bound to happen, especially where but as for yeah, no, I wasn't all wackadoo crazy hormonal while I was pregnant, and I actually enjoyed motherhood up until the moment my child was taken from me illegally. So I don't have any regrets as far as keeping or having Damon. Now, as far as Damon specifically, I considered abortion. I did. I looked up the number. I thought, I called them and everything, but something just felt different. Like I wasn't supposed to, because at that point I didn't really like. I wasn't thinking like it's that big of a deal, right? Like how I would now. Like now, guys, if I were to become pregnant, like irresponsibly, I wouldn't have an abortion. So it's my choice to responsibly be impregnated, but I let a fella know, like, hey, like I believe that abortion. I ain't getting no abortion. Just letting you know, like I would do that, guys, fellows out there who want to like just have a good time with me or whatever, like on the 3D plane. But if you want to, like, you're down to impregnate, like you're like DTI down to impregnate, I'm with that too. I'm with that too. But certainly like do it quick because like I still get my period, guys. It's really fucking annoying when you're homeless and you have a menstrual cycle still at 37. Like, come on, like, isn't it bad enough? Like, isn't it bad enough? But I do want to tie into another thing because I really do have things. I should probably be okay, but I want to touch on this. Like, okay, this whole like this because I mentioned Moloch or Moloch, worship or whatever, like sacrifice. I've mentioned, if I believe, and how it ties in with like Lilith. Because okay, guys, my thoughts on Lilith are this: I don't really relate. Like, I've never been particular. Okay, because my stance on like, or my. I've talked about like connecting with spirits and all that, right? And I've mentioned like whatever. Um, I've never I've always felt bad that I never really like felt it. I at one point thought I should. I'm like, maybe I should. The only ways I've connected, I've always seen Lilith. This is my thoughts on Lilith, because I know this dark feminine. I still ain't buying this whole like dark, like Lilith bad, Lucifer bad. I ain't buying it. I'm sorry, not fully, not fully. So, um, how I see Lilith is the moon, and I've just always like corresponded owls to her because of that, or coincident, like it just tied in with like, hey, night owl, moon. The moon is out at night, like watching. I've always seen her Lilith. symbolism as an owl, and I felt it. And I there's one song by oh my god, now I'm not what's the name of the song? I felt like that was enough for Lilith energy, right? To be like vindicated. You will never make me lay beneath the mountain. You will never make me. It's a great song. You will never make me lay beneath the mountain. Hey man. Evening on the Ground. Yeah, so we're still not okay. So Evening on the Ground by whom? Whom was it? Because typing the lyrics did nothing, of course. Evening on the Ground. Hey man, evening on the ground in there. Evening on. As far as taking the blame and shit, okay, song by Iron and Wine, and it's called Lilith's song, Evening on the Ground. I listened to that song, and I feel that they represent the energy of Lilith well. Is she this like baby murderous like energy? I don't know, guy. I've never picked up that vibe, but I've never felt really inclined to like work with her, right? As far as relating to like feminine religious spirits or energy, Mary Magdalene would be the one I've mentioned in my "How to Be Better Than Everyone" video where I talked about only the Bible. I've just always connected with the character of Mary Magdalene more than Lilith, for because well I mean the blaming aspect of Lilith, yes. The blaming aspect of Lilith, yes, but I feel Lucifer gets that energy too. If you're looking at like okay, if you guys like can't get past like oh my god, like Lucifer is Lilith's wife or husband or whatever, like they're partners in crime, right? I don't know. I've always felt more drawn to the spirit of Lucifer more so than Lilith. As far as Jesus and Mary Magdalene, I would say I relate to them both equally. So I don't know what that means for anybody out there, but I've already expressed that I believe Jesus and Lucifer are two sides of the same coin, or different two sides of the same coin, and I've been persecuted for that, as I have in the 1200s, like I've mentioned. So you tell me, guys, is Mary Magdalene, you know? I mean, are we really gonna sit there and like murder people? I can't. I shan't even with you. I just wanted to say, like, as far as yeah, I've never really connected. I thought it was like, oh, one day I will, right? And I never did. Guys, I just bought. I think if you see, I don't know if you can see it in any of my videos. I had a little Avon. I love finding like old Avon stuff at thrift shops. They're always there, you know. But one was like a little white owl, and it was really cool. I had to leave it at housing when I got kicked out. When I got the boot in June, I left it there. But yeah, that's why I had that out, was to like honor the dark feminine, or what is perceived as that. Is it or is it not? I don't fucking know or care, guys. I'm just telling you how I relate to it. I certainly would think, guys, I'm just used to being blamed for things as a human. So the reason why I can defend demons is because I feel like there are always two sides to every story, being that I'm a victim of being being that not that like belief not being like gifted to me, right? So I'm just used to it. Like I always there's always two sides, and then they say there's three, right? Their side, and the truth. Yeah, but at least get grant you know um, consideration of your own. Like just imagine like, hey, would I like being attacked without actually like really people knowing my name and not my story? Like really, like it's so I can't. But yeah, it ain't. I don't think it's. I mentioned recently this whole Saturn. I would say that as far as child sacrifice goes, I would say Saturn is more of that energy because weirdly, guys, weirdly, um, my grandma on my mom's side was born in 1926. My Annie was born in 1956. So that's about 30 years. And then I'm like, hey, Damon was born almost when I was 30. Like that's weird, right? Like that's kind of strange, especially like in my age and my grandma's. all of our ages, like by 30, like in the 50s, that's kind of an older age to have children, isn't it? And as far as me, even, I'm like, hey, I made it almost to 30 without being impregnated. Like, hey, so I'm a catch, yeah. Well, not really, because I had an abortion, I had several, which it ain't right, ladies, it ain't. So I just want to get that off my chest. I'm not gonna sit here and keep rambling. I meant this to go a lot like quicker, and also not you guys hear me talking about like personal stuff with my friend. That was a friend, guys, and she was a woman. She doesn't murder baby. We weren't pretending like that's what we always talk about because I knew I was on live stream. Like it's not we don't secretly like we weren't trying to like persuade you in any way that we don't murder babies like doing it or like talking about it all the time when we're not walking around our maypole or whatever it is that you ladies who do like doing that do. So yeah, I shan't even with ye. Just admit it's murder. The government can't tell you can't, and have fun out there. Live, love, live, love, live, love, murder.